so National Union of Ghana Students, you're trying to take NUGS, and African Education Watch, one more akabo, and then one more niabre, one more so much your money at and you speak a wagon of a banana table, that's why I'm ma. Is I say no, be out, sorry, a parliament sometime. Say, come up when you first woman, yes, and pa. Say, much more, one more them not for be batch as I get funding on, ya jisicana, live in Nankasan, ya jibia funding Nankasa for Tuano, Sikabe come ayo hanche mwedi ya sanko 39% for the way. As Sikano Brabant pa ne kwabo ewa get funding no emu. Eti ene news for said debi lalai. Nyada wametna say I am Hama Sade no akoso. Dennis appear labi ampofo. Wano ekasaye wabra womukopie mo ewa mrasubejem.
For challenges that have come up with infrastructure, with high rise in fees, lack of funds for student loan, and every day you hear the students of this country complaining about non-payment from student loan, comes from the fact that the necessary funds that's supposed to be released from GETFund to some of these agencies is not going. Standing before this house, we are aware that the formula has been presented to you for discussion, or will be presented to you for discussion. Honorable Chair and your committee, you stand at a crossroads where the fate of our young students lies in your hands. First thing, reject the formula without any equivocation. We can only have a comfortable discussion about the future of education when the funds that is meant for education is guaranteed by this house. And that is why this house was put up to protect Ghanaians. Our call is simple. One, reject the 2023 proposed formula for disbursing GETFund. Move strictly to, in collaboration with the Finance Committee, initiate steps to immediately uncap GETFund. And that is where the crux of the matter is, Mr. Chairman. Uncapping GETFund is a communal labor. It's a right way to go, proceed to defend the education of this country. Yourself and your committee have on several instances said that the future of this country lies really in education. Education cannot be quality, accessible, and equitable when it has no funding. And some years back, when this house moved to enact the GETFund Act, the students of this country, whose leadership stand behind me today, were convinced that it was going to be used for education. And for that matter, the National Union of Ghana Students with our blocks and all our partners supported the enactment of the GETFund levy. And today, we've moved from 100% to 39%. Mr. Chairman, if your committee does not take this as an urgent requirement, we will get to 1%. Zero. And one day, people of this country will pay monies, funds, levies, 2.5% every single commodity, and it won't be used for education. So if you see us standing before you, in all humility, Mr. Chairman, the students of this country have their hopes on you.
Onua FM 95.1.
Awamuno mojina eye mrasebe dwama plaka sekita wamuno GETFund in their say assess kana mu wama jobosi akura de awienti ne ebedi ano no. Executive Director Edema African Education Watch Kofi Asare wano so edi ato dwase was parliament pa say e was samra foforo na eba no wo fa kwan bia so tumi bia wo mo no di sia no kwan na 39% de ebeye de na GETFund no kura timi aye adwuma na wo bi so say 61% no mo ka say ekọ other sectors no no want to see.
I've had a lot of these activities a lot of the time when we've seen issues being resolved, and so we are optimistic that officialdom will listen to us. We are not talking to the Minister of Finance. We are talking to Parliament. We are asking Parliament not to approve this year's GETFund formula. The formula will be before the House in the next couple of days. And we are asking Parliament to reject the formula and then not approve it until the Minister of Finance excuses GETFund from the capping law. So we are not talking to Kenneth. We are talking to our that they should reject the formula that they don't protect it until the Minister of Finance does the right thing by capping the GETFund and freeing all resources to education. And let me explain this for those who don't understand what the capping means. Capping GETFund simply means that with the current regime, only about 20% of what we pay as GETFund levy anytime we buy any good or service actually ends up going to GETFund. So the Minister of Finance is directing 80% of our accruals into the GETFund. That is currently what the situation is. The latest cap, and we are saying that it is not in the interest of education development in the country where 2.3 million people have access to adequate desk to the country where over 5,000 schools system.
We Kofi Asare na Enuachi chairman Edema Education Committee and no Parliament Kwabena Amankwa Esiama one also edgy petition no wahwem was saying yate na yasom speaker Nensabeka
and make sure that it is delivered to the right place and right actions taken to make sure that the GETFund is uncapped if from nowhere from Parliament. And we know if it comes from here, it will be effective. The way and manner you even came has humbled me. It depicts your status is not by chance, and that you are here to use the law to act. If it were not in some years back, you have made it possible today. We are grateful. GETFund is the only dedicated funds that has been earmarked for the development of education in our country. Capping it to the extent of giving it about 17.5% in recent act, I think it's not the right thing. Education is expensive, very, very expensive. But if you try vices and ignorance of the youth, in later years, it will cost you harmfully and more than if you had used the money to educate your youth. We will do everything possible within our means to make sure that GETFund and earmarked fund like GETFund is used for the education of our country and the youth of our future. We have to give you a vista of hope and inspiration. That means you can take up from us when we are no more. We aren't be here forever. You are taken up from us. And if you aren't educated well, then it means we aren't going to have a good economy and a good nation. Thank you for presenting your grievance. We will act upon it.
Chairman Numasam and an ranking member, Honorable Peter no Chukotoi, one also Hrema was say, one more Yanyama Bebria, one person, one more sister who must be Australiano. Now, one more Judisa and a more NUGS, and a Afe, a Kua K, a tree, and also Babwa, and Masachaye Abba.
That the committee will take all steps that are needed or necessary to make sure that GETFund is a decapped. I can inform you that Chairman and myself and the committee, we have already taken the step. On the 29th of November last year, we presented a bill, which we call a private members bill, to decap GETFund. It is now before the finance committee. We are putting pressure on them to look at it and make recommendations to the House. I am sure your presence here will give indication to the finance committee that we need to do something about it as quickly as possible. And when that is done, be assured that this committee will be there for you as we have been all times. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, that was someone by said the parliament what their petition, the Japan, and say, oh, we're not in a to petition. Speaker,
Uko jina baby kwa kan hwe na bia no mo nti omu du ho mo
parliament omu fa kwa mo I say fa so be nya from so aro nti e ho asem eno no
ni ebe anza obekọ baby abekọ akọ print o dete no apel or fe parliament ya ni
akọ mo o ko mo so o mo adwuma
sa wo metra so ukọ ya de trofama Mr. Speaker